All right, welcome to White Hat versus Black Hat SEO podcast. My name is Josh Bachynski. With me, as always, I have my handsome and young co-host, Chase Reiner. Say hi, Chase.
Hello.
And also with us today, we have our handsome and semi-young Facebook guru, Steve Fantasia.
I was going to say the handsome gave it away.
And also with us today, we have our. That's what happens when you have the broadcast playing in the background. Steve Fantasia. There you go. Everyone turn off the broadcast, except for the people listening. Everyone in the Hangout, turn off the broadcast. There we go. And joining us today, we're very happy to have back Ted Kubaitis, the great e-commerce SEO. Say hi, Ted.
Hello.
Ted and I were just discussing before the broadcast here that he's working on something really cool. We're not really going to say what it is today because it's not quite ready yet for general presentation. But those of you who've been following my podcast and my SEO Hangouts for quite some time know that he makes some awesome SEO software, just really good stuff. And I'm hoping he'll come back and tell us about it when it's ready. I'm putting him on the spot on air, and so he has to say yes.
Well, it's available. We have clients. The world's starting to use it, so. But we'll want to present it well and highlight what it can do.
Of course, do all the right things and show them all the right stuffs and watch them jiggers. Okay, so anyway, welcome to the show. As I said, for those of you who are listening to this either live or recorded, this is an SEO show where we debate the merits of white hat SEO versus black hat SEO. We talk about leaks, we talk about secrets, we talk about tips. Also, Steve can tell us about Facebook ads.
To get around SEO.
To get around SEO, yes, and to supplement SEO and to also get traffic out of Facebook as well, because Facebook is definitely another place where you can get traffic. And he's also got some stuff he wanted to talk about today as well. And with that, why don't we just start with yourself there, Steve? You had some stuff you wanted to talk about. Why don't you take it away and talk about that stuff?
All right, sure. I got a couple of things. One, new in the land of Facebook, they just announced today a collection ad, which is a new ad that's going to be coming out. It's on their API, which is on their super secret background platform. But what it's going to let you do is allow e-commerce or somebody to put 50 products on one single ad. So that type of ad is going to be dominant. I was talking with you, Josh. I think Facebook is definitely going after Amazon. They're going after Google, going after YouTube. They're trying to be the big bad player of the world, and an ad product like that is going to be very dominant. It's going to allow me to, like I said, put 50 products. I'm going to be able to search through it. So pretty exciting stuff. They just released it today.
Can you give us a little bit more detail how that works or what the relevance of that is?
How it works is going to be, it's on the background of the API. So you have to have an advanced account, but those e-commerce guys who have one will have one of those. It's going to allow you to load a series of products into your ad account, and then from there be able to serve those products to your users. So if somebody's on Facebook scanning through and they like red shoes or red apples, as you always say, they'll be able to see up to 50 different red apples in the app without leaving at all, with calls to action on each one. So it's going to be a great product for e-commerce, people like that, to promote their products.
Do you think people who do affiliate networking are going to be able to use this very much?
Yeah, well, affiliate network's really taken off. But yeah, anytime you have a product. So if you were doing, like, say you wanted to do black hat loans, which Facebook doesn't like, but you can totally do, you could put those as different products.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, let's move on to, did you have anything else you wanted to say? I thought there was two things.
The other thing was, a little expose on Fiverr. Everybody thinks that the phrase "it's too good to be true." Well, that is actually true. A customer of mine went out and bought 50 likes for $5 on Fiverr, and I let him do it, looked at it, and then looked at each one. And lo and behold, we have people who were born in Boston, went to school in Sao Paulo, then went to the military academy, and now live in Honolulu.
Wow.
Oddly enough, they have no friends, but they have over 1,100 likes. So that's
pretty impressive.
And they bear a striking resemblance to people from Twilight. So I went through about 4 or 5 of them, and I kept doing it. And it is literally, this is the kind of stuff that's going to get, Facebook's going to scrub it. They're going to lose them all. They have no friends. but they have commented. I mean, they've done about 50 reviews. So it's just stay away from it. There's ways to do likes very cheap right now. You can run your own like campaign with good targeting. You can get them in the pennies. So there's ways to do it the legit way.
You know, I have access to over 150 million Facebook fans. If anybody in the world wants likes to be an SEO factor, it's me. And I've tried every way there is to leverage likes as a ranking signal, and I'm sorry, people, it's just not. There is something to be said for social influencing your rankings, and here's how that works. You have a brand, it's something that captivates people, interests people. They find it on social through your posts, and later on, they search for it. You know, it gets people talking about your brand, so it gets people searching for your brand. And that terminates the search when they find your brand and click on the link. That's how social influences your ranking and influences SEO. But likes are not a ranking.
Yeah, I completely agree. Likes are the biggest curtain in the world. Don't pay attention to what's really going on. Focus on likes and smiley faces. Yeah. You want to have a few on your fan page so you look relevant, but you don't chase the white rabbit with the likes and going down that thing. Like I said a million times, Josh, focus on what you're really there for. But it is really interesting to go behind the curtain and see what Fiverr's really doing.
Yeah. No, that's all good stuff. And thank you, Ted, for that information. Like I said, Ted is the guy who runs huge data and is able to see a lot of correlation ranking factors, and he knows with some good authority what ranking factors are, or what are ranking factors and what are not. And so, you know, and as always, we're talking about two different things. We're talking about getting traffic from Google, getting traffic from Facebook, how to optimize Facebook for Facebook traffic, and that's usually ads because of the pay-to-play system. Google is still kind of free, and so what kind of signals, including Facebook signals, might help you rank with Google, and which includes some of the stuff that Ted just talked about there. Okay, so let's move now to what's new in Black Hat SEO and what's new in White Hat SEO. I have some information on both, actually. So what's new on Black Hat SEO? I came across a very nasty negative SEO attack very recently. A client of mine who has a huge website. I'm talking like 600,000 unique visitors a week. Big website. If you do the math, that's like 3 million uniques a month. 2.5 to 3 million uniques a month. Their site was recently filtered. The index page, you search for their brand, and you search for the actual, like with spaces, or not, like some they would call Josh's Fruit Emporium. You do Josh's Fruit Emporium, no spaces, or you do Josh's Fruit Emporium spaces. Their brand didn't show up. Other pages showed up, but their brand and their site links didn't show up at all, period. So they were filtered. So the first thing I thought was Panda, because Panda or some quality algorithms will often do this kind of deep filtering. But we dug into it a little bit deeper, and we found out that a scraping site had scraped them and had linked to them, and was an exact duplicate, and then had changed the content on the index page after Google spidered it, or cloaked to Google, one or the other, with a phishing attack. And so we have this phishing attack site that's scraped, that's exactly like the target site, linking to the target site, and Google, in their auto-canonical algorithm that kind of clusters all these linking sites together that are duplicates, it decided to filter the brand, where this site was just here just fine, right? So, big trouble. They're freaking out. What's going on? Before I tell you how I solved it, have you guys, Ted, have you ever come across this?
Oh, yeah. Duplicating content is one of the ways you can usurp somebody from the ranks, because if your copied page can get more authority signals, you can replace them in the results. It's just, playing the duplicate content behavior. So that's a very common one.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, is there anybody on the panel who doesn't think negative SEO is real? Because I know it's still a debate out there. There's so many deniers.
Be careful, Chase. That's a trap. That's Admiral Akbar is jumping out. It's a trap. He's jumping out from the side here.
I mean, there's still people out there. There's still people out there who don't even think SEO is real. So
this is true.
Bigfoot.
So long story short, so that you're right. There's a whole suite, a whole set of negative SEO attacks based on scraping sites, pointing links to them, trying to be the authoritative site, replacing their ranking, or just putting a phishing attack on this site and destroying their rankings.
Yeah, interrupting Googlebot, spamming databases, all the reputation attacks. I maintain a list. And so far, it's like over 40 different attack strategies for negative SEO.
A very dismal, depressing list.
yeah. I use it to crush negative SEO deniers.
Indeed.
But, it's real. It's real. It's unfortunate, but real.
I agree. So in this particular case, it was a phishing attack and then Google detected the phishing here. But because they have a ranking cluster, right? Because Google will take all the properties that seem to be canonical or the same, cluster them into one ranking cluster, and then it will treat the ranking cluster with all the same kind of signals. Some people call it entity stacking. I call it a ranking cluster ever since they had the rel next prev page clusters that they used to do. And then this is how they make the canonical kind of auto behave. And because they have a phishing attack on one of the pages in the cluster, the canonical of the cluster, these guys didn't get canonical, but they did get the canonical taken down, right? If people are following that, if that makes sense. So what I did, so the first thing I did is I respidered this one because it was different than this. That didn't do anything at all. Then I did a bunch of research trying to figure out what was going on. Then I realized that this site was linking to this site. And so I know you're going to gasp, but I actually filled out the disavow file. I had to Google how to do it because I haven't done it for so long. So I actually filled out the disavow file, put the phishing site in the disavow file, put it, uploaded it for the HTTP and the root and the www version of this brand site in the disavow file. I then immediately emailed John Mueller explaining the situation, whining, blah, 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 asking him to fix it. One of my secret Twitter accounts, that is a very attractive looking lady, actually tweeted to Gary Ilyish and asked Gary Ilyish, and he's talked to her before. He's responded to her before. He has me muted, but he talks to this fake account that I made, right, of a very attractive lady. So if you go now, everyone's going to go through Gary Ilyish's stream.
Yeah,
which one is? Yeah, it's me with boobs. That's right. That's not an attractive lady. That's not attractive in any way, shape, or form. And that's a really weird thing to say. Quite
frankly, our viewers are good at Photoshop. Send us the photo.
Oh, great!
Put it on air.
Make sure you get the chest hair on the boobs, right? Anyway. Moving as quickly as I can from that conversation, all the people are going to look at Gary Ilyish's timeline and try to figure out which one of those is my secret account.
There's something important you brought up because it sounds like a fundamental shift in philosophy. Does disavow work now? Are you changing your stance?
Oh, the question. Well, let me tell you the rest of what happened. And so the timeline. And so this was yesterday, maybe 2 hours earlier than this. So like 11 a.m. my time. Hey, who's talking to me? Someone's talking. I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, so I put in the disavow file, domain level. I put in the comments, this is Josh Bachynski doing this. I think I'm so conceited. I'm so arrogant. I think my name holds some weight that I can just put, this is Josh Bachynski doing this. As soon as Google reads it, oh, Josh wants us to disavow this. Well, we better get right on it then, right? But I did. I've done it before in reconsideration requests.
In fact, it only works if you do it that way.
Right. Now everyone's going to say, this is Josh Bachynski. Wow, Josh, SEO is like 1 million sites. What's going on? And so long story short, I also found out that this phishing site was hosted on Cloudflare. I went to cloudflare.com/abuse, filled out their abuse form, said that's a phishing site, put it in there. So that's all that I did. Which one of those things do you think worked?
Cloudflare.
I emailed John Mueller. I did an abuse at Cloudflare. I did a disavow. I tweeted at Gary Ilyish, and I respidered the brand site.
Cloudflare. That would be my guess.
Cloudflare is your guess? What do you, Steve and Chase, what do you think? Steve's like, I don't know.
Probably the recrawl or the disavow.
Yeah. And Steve, you gonna weigh in on this, or
I would say the pretty girl Twitter conical.
Okay, so you got a widespread. I like it. The answer is I have no idea. I don't know what worked, but I can tell you what didn't work, or what John Mueller responded to my email and said, sorry, let me get the chain of events. So today I check in the morning, 9 a.m. The brand is back. Everything is fine. I checked the cache date. They did not update the cache yet of the brand site. I checked the cache date. They did not change. They did not crawl the phishing site, which had changed as content, but it hadn't been crawled yet, according to Google. Now, I know the index time and the cache time are totally different, and the cache time is updated after the index date quite a bit for reasons that Ted knows for previous negative SEO attempts that used to go on, actually. So that could be the reason, is that Google spidered it, thought it wasn't the same anymore, auto-fixed, right? That could be it. It was, or it could have been the disavow file. John Mueller emailed me back. Yes, I get emails from Google. And he said, no, it wasn't me. It was already fixed. And I, because I said, oh, thank you, John, so much. Boy, you're fast. He said, no, it wasn't me. It was already fixed. I can't take credit for this one. Smiley face, smiley face. Okay, thanks, John. Gary Ilyash, as far as I know, did not respond to my pretty fake Twitter account. So Steve, you're wrong on this one. Chase, you might be right, because it could have been the disavow for all I know, or it was a respidering. But that's what happened. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, I think disavow at the domain level is the only thing that might have ever worked once or twice for me. So I think there's a possibility of legs there. And I think the least likely is somebody at Google lifting a finger to help you out. I think that's a long shot.
True. But John Mueller admitted that he didn't have anything to do with it. I'm sure he would have said he did, or wouldn't have responded at all. I know John Mueller's psyche very well, and so I knew if I emailed him profusely thanking him, that if he didn't do it, he would feel duty bound to email back and say, "Oh, it wasn't me," and that's exactly what happened. This is Josh's face when he's pleased with himself. So, so the answer is I don't know. I don't know what happened, but it was a pretty darn terrible negative SEO attack, and as Ted said, and Ted knows about a whole bunch of them. It's not the only one, that's for sure. But it could very well be that they crawled the site, and or the disavow could have worked. So if it was the disavow, I emailed John Mueller trying to get, let me see if he emailed back yet. I emailed John Mueller trying to get a sense whether the disavow worked, but he has not taken the bait on that one and not emailed me back. Probably won't. So yes, I get emails back from Google, but like one, maybe after every 20 emails. So I'm not like besties or anything. So that's what's new in Black Hat SEO, is at least for me, is I found this kind of negative SEO attack and I thought it was pretty nasty. What's new in White Hat SEO? Well, not much. John Mueller had a hangout recently. He did talk about the Fred update. They did confirm it's quality related. So if you got trouble on March 8th, and you especially if you have an affiliate site or an AdSense site, that's quality related. It usually has to do with thin content, duplicated content, that kind of a thing. And so that's still what we're watching out for that. Another new thing that he mentioned in White Hat SEO, which I found very important, was I started grilling him on the mobile first index. If any of you have watched, you saw this. I started grilling him on the mobile first index, and I'm going through the algorithms, sequentially. So I'm like, okay, Googlebot, that's not going to change. The only way that's going to change is that you're going to switch the UA, the user agent, from desktop to mobile, right? He's like, yes. I'm like, so I go to the next one. I'm like, okay, caffeine. Caffeine is the name of their indexer. Caffeine is not going to change because you're just still going to index everything. You're going to parse out duplicate content at the indexing stage, like easily thin content stuff, and that's going to be more or less the same. He waffled. He's like, more or less. Then the next one, Hummingbird, their entity data, their entity program. I said, is Hummingbird going to change? Probably not. It's just going to parse out the entities that it finds in the content. This is where he stopped me as I did this forensic kind of grilling of exactly what algorithm was going to change. Because what he tells me, as I'm sure Ted and Chase will attest, what he answers to each of those questions will tell us how the ranking's going to change, right? Finally, long story short, is he admitted that different than what they're doing now, currently what they do now is they crawl desktop. They see that you have a mobile site. If you do, they will serve it to mobile users, but they don't check the mobile site. They don't crawl the mobile site at all, any way, shape, or form. That's what John Mueller did say about a month ago. Now he says when they switch to mobile first, He's changed his position now. Now he says they're going to crawl the mobile site and they will also crawl the desktop site as well and have it kind of as an adjunct. But they still need to crawl the desktop site for some desktop signals. At least that's how I took it when I watched it. Do you guys have any comment about that? Positive, yes or no?
Well, I have one data point for that.
Please.
I track hundreds of on-page factors to see how they correlate with ranking position for thousands of search terms. And very recently, in the past, let's call it 2 to 3 weeks, the correlations for the meta viewport tag went through the roof. Really? Yeah, which I think is, traditional correlation, not causation. Everybody's doing it now, but if you're on page 1, you're very likely to have your meta viewport configured, and that means you're using responsive design.
I see. Yeah, you're right. So again, we have to be careful not to, to call it causation, just call it correlation, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, here's another debate we can have. Yes, causation, there is a causation correlation fallacy, and that fallacy is to see some correlation and assume there was causation. But that doesn't even matter. Like, who cares about causation? All we have is correlations, right? If you get enough correlations, then you decide to try it out for yourself, and if it works, seems to work, it seems to work.
Yeah, I think there are two things that people need to understand about that saying. The first of which is the things that are causal tend to be in the collection of things that correlate. So if you have all possibilities and you reduce them down to a much smaller set of things that correlate, it's very likely that you have some causal things mixed in there.
Yes.
So just by going with correlation, you make your guesses much, much better than they would otherwise be.
Better than usually a hearsay.
The second thing is you have to look at how people are using the saying correlation is not causation. And much of the time, people who are saying that are using it to justify the fact that they don't use data to back up their recommendations.
Yes.
And so when
that they sell this service and so they want to claim that it still works or something like that.
Yeah, and when you hear somebody saying correlation is not causation and they're telling you what to do, you need to explore more because they probably don't have any data for what they're suggesting.
That is actually a very, very, very good point, because there is no end of SEO articles from the Moz, search engine land, kind of white hat, SMX, West SMX advanced kind of group, that they put no end of articles out like that.
Yeah, and it's people that are mad at math and they don't want to put in the effort to do good work. And it's their banner saying correlation is not causation, so why use data at all?
Yeah, why use data at all? What is it? It's like Donald Trump is doing SEO. Why use data at all? It's math is just a conspiracy made by the Chinese. That's all.
Yeah, to hide climate change.
Exactly. Those pesky mathematicians.
Now the Chinese don't have to do it. We're doing
it. Yes. Don't even get me started on that. For anyone who's following me on Twitter and looks at my deep tweets, has seen I may have been arguing a little bit with some people on Twitter. I know it's a tremendous surprise for you all to find out that I've been arguing with people online. I know. However, okay, so that's what's new in White Hat. That's what's new in Black Hat SEO. Thank you very much. Now we're going to move to my favorite portion of this was a perfect segue what we're talking about. Now we're going to move to the more debating people online portion of the program, and we're going to talk about what's better, Black Hat SEO or White Hat SEO. And before I start, or Black Hat Facebook. So there's 3 positions. What's better? White Hat SEO, Black Hat SEO, or Black Hat Facebook, or Facebook of ads the way that Steve says they're great. Steve, I assume you'll take the Facebook position. Chase, yes. Ted, or myself, who wants to take the White Hat position? Who wants to take the Black Hat position?
Well, I'm happy to take the Black Hat position, but I think we might be at a disadvantage against Facebook. Just recently, because I have the software tool, I created a mailing list of about 300 marketing agencies that I just wanted to do a test mailing to.
Yeah.
So I sent out my email to 300 marketing agencies and got like a 60% open rate, and about 10 or so people viewed the videos to completion.
Right.
And I looked at that whole effort and realized really quickly that I could have gotten that result for about $1 on Facebook.
Yep.
Exactly.
So yeah,
I'm surprised you got that high of an email open rate. That's really 60%.
Well,
unless they were subscribers.
Extremely targeted list.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Targeted list and a well-crafted email.
Mm-hmm. But only a sixth of those actually watch the videos. So
yes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, I'm working on a very big website right now for a very big client in the insurance industry. I won't say which insurance. And they have like a insurance quote form, and there's like 5 steps, and users get 90% of them get to the first step, 70% of them get to the second step, and like 5% of them get to the third step, because the more form you have, the more interaction required. Just like the amount of people filling it out drops like a plane going down, like Trump's political career going right into the ground, going to the tubers, as he says.
Yeah, nobody, it's huge. Nobody wants to fill out forms anymore.
Sad.
They don't want to do it.
Very sad.
No, that's why there's some really good products again on the Facebook side where they don't have to fill out the form. Facebook for you.
This is a matter of debate, sir. This is a debate show. So, so we'll do the debate. So I will start, and Chase, you can be the referee, and you can come in with your rant hand at any point.
Or your big giant jug,
like a karate chop. It's like start beating down the points here. Okay, so I'm going to say that white hat SEO is better, clearly, for these reasons. One, organic traffic is better than paid traffic, because organic traffic already wants to buy something or already wants to do something.
Well,
so it's easier to convert. Hold on. 2, and it's better than black hat traffic, because black hat traffic is just unethical and wrong. There.
What product are we selling?
Wait,
hold on.
The customer is not black.
We can't even get to stage 1 of the debate before everyone's like, hold on, Jesus Christ. Nah.
I feel like what we're debating right now is way too general. Like, just Facebook versus Google.
It's a product campaign, drive traffic, conversion.
Okay. Let's talk about. I know you work. I don't know if you care if I mention on air, Steve. I know you've done in the past a lot of work for Fortune 1000 companies. You could pick one of those, you're
talking massive budget. I mean, if you have are we going with companies like that with $50,000 spend? Companies
that could spend let's say there's no restrictions at all from spend. So let's say they can spend $10,000 a month. They can spend $10,000 a month either on SEO, or they can spend $10,000 a month on Facebook ads.
Okay.
Which
so we'll do
better?
An e-commerce site?
Sure.
Large e-commerce site selling home goods.
Sure. Sounds good.
Okay.
Home hardware, whatever.
Mm-hmm. So I would say with $10,000 you could build a pretty dynamic Facebook campaign and go after those people and target them to get them to do conversions, build a list, go through it, get some low cost retargeting versus. Yeah,
but how do you know that they want to buy a light yet, or that they want to buy
interest based
toilet seat?
What they're it goes by what they're searching. Somebody who's going to buy a lamp doesn't wake up and say, well, I mean, something like a lamp, but if they go out, they don't wake up and just say, oh, that's what I want to buy. They leave a trail, and Facebook has tapped into that, especially the new thing that just came out where now Comcast is going to be selling your usage and everything to advertisers, which is me. I'm going to be able to tell what you do.
That's the next thing we should debate, because for people, it might be bad, but for us in our work, it's just darn good.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I mean, I don't even like to use Facebook, but I advertise on it.
Let me stop you there. So you said
wait, Josh. Let me get in here, man. All right. So I feel like what we're debating right now is should I start doing running or should I start doing lifting? It's well, do you want to become a faster runner, or do you want to be really strong in the gym and be able to lift a bunch of weight? It really doesn't matter. what matters is what is your goal here. So if your goal is to go out and get 1,000 sales, in a 30 days or whatever, then, Facebook ads would probably be a good thing. But the long-term strategy is usually not as good for Facebook as it is for like organic search, where you're creating tons of content, getting hopefully some links, and creating long-term assets that are going to convert people into customers. And it also depends where you're at with your site or with your products. If your products, you get tons of traffic to your site, but there's no people converting, then it would probably be better to spend a lot more money doing conversion rate optimization or split testing versus doing Facebook ads. So it really depends. And that's like the classic SEO answer that everybody says. It really depends, but it really does. You can't just debate which one's better without
well, oh yes, I can.
It also depends what you're selling, because the difference between SEO and Facebook is how much margin can you apply towards your ad spend. And if you don't have the margin in your sales, then the ad spend is out of the question. So it depends what you're selling too.
Yeah. And I'll admit too, the minute you stop spending ads, you stop sales. So going into that, I'm like, got my hand behind my back a little bit. But to your point with a low margin, let's just say, like, I would say if you sell car batteries, I'm not going to advertise for you, because when you need a car battery, you wake up, your car's dead, you go, boom, you should be on Google AdWords or ranking in your area. I'm not even going to do that. But if you're selling, even if you have a low margin, if you have I just ran a campaign for a low margin cosmetics, and I was getting 20 cents a click. So that's a pretty small cost of investment right there for an ad. So,
but it depends how many clicks get a sale, and when that sale,
you're gonna have to look at
average card,
2% conversion rate or whatever. So you're gonna have to spend a little bit of money. Yeah.
Okay, so I proclaim white hat SEO better because, as you've admitted, and Chase has supported. One, it lets you build a property. Hold on.
Let me burst your bubble.
It lets you build a property that you can sell.
Right here. The reason why it's not better is your SEO doesn't scale with spend. It doesn't, dollar for dollar, it doesn't keep rising. It plateaus. So if you want to scale your operation, you need something where dollar for dollar, that conversion rate grows right with it.
So you're telling me that if you're doing SEO and you end up ranking for keywords with like 1,500 searches a month, and you start pulling in like 10 or 15 conversions a month that you're seeing through conversion tracking, you set up your funnels, you see that these are converting people. You're not telling me that you can't use that to look at the ROI and then up your spend.
I'm telling you that when you get your SEO dialed in, and most healthy online retailers, it'll end up being about 15% of their gross revenue. If you're firing on all channels, email, social, everything, I'm telling you, you can't double your budget for SEO and get that to 30% in 3 months, or, it just doesn't work that way, but you can do that with paid media.
Well, maybe not in 3 months, but it can definitely be done. I have tons of sites that are, ranking now for things like scented coconut oil, which is bringing in, an extra 40, 50 sales a month.
I'm not saying it's bad. What you have is the highest margin sales in the business, which is a really good thing. It's what all channels aspire to, is the SEO sales. But you get more control over scaling the operation and paid.
I'm sorry, I have to butt in. Scented coconut oil?
Well, he likes that stuff.
What? Okay, let's leave that one alone.
What's the question, Josh? Do you need some in your life?
I don't know. I don't know what that's used for. Although, send me the URL later. Okay. Well, but you're not arguing against white hat SEO. You're arguing against SEO in general. You've flipped sides, and now you're arguing for Facebook at that point. But with white hat SEO, you build up a property you can sell later. Actually, that builds up a brand. And you do it in a way that has no risk, and that is not ethically immoral.
I almost never build something to flip it. I'm looking for conversions. I'm looking for sales.
True. But as my cohort Chase pointed out with his scented coconut oil, that once you start ranking for these these keywords that have the for batteries, for example, Facebook only knows that you want to buy XYZ until you've done some searches or clicked some ads or shown some interest in XYZ. Google is there to immediately, the $10,000 you spend on SEO is further down in the sales funnel, and you get a higher conversion rate out of the $10,000 you spend up higher in the sales funnel for Facebook.
Well, the other problem with SEO is that when you get into certain niches, it also requires an education level of the customer for you to even be in contact.
Yeah, to know what to type.
If the customer doesn't know the industry-specific jargon to get to your product or service, you're in trouble. But when you go to Facebook, that's totally different. You're targeting people and saying, hey, look at what I've got.
Yeah, I would put an ad in front of you for coconut oil, and you might not think that. You might be like Chase and like lavender oil. And then here I am putting coconut, and you're like, wow, this is great. And then you get that, that's how that would work. Interest-based versus typing in it. I would argue, though, if you had $10,000 today to start a company selling lavender coconut oil tomorrow, and I only
never
had
anything specific. Lavender coconut oil?
Lavender coconut oil. Yeah, watermelon. It's pretty good.
I'm sorry, your point was?
I would say if you had $10,000 to start today, you do your SEO stuff, your canonical HT meta tags, when are you going to get a sale is what I'm asking you. I could get you a sale with the ad account running up in 3-4 days. When would you get a sale with the white hat label Google canonical stuff?
You have a point. Months down the road, maybe.
Okay.
Well, and keep in mind that SEO being 15% of an online retailer's gross sales, I mean, that's meaningful for most large online retailers. That's millions and millions of dollars.
I would definitely. I think it's a place. I would argue, I'm not saying like eliminate it completely. We kind of did an A or B, either or. Really, the path is a combination of both.
Yeah, it's a portfolio.
Of course, because an A and B stupid discussion is how I like to break things down for the stupid debate part of the show.
Yeah. Well, I win.
Oh no. No, you do not, sir.
I know. I'm just kidding.
White hat. You could say you win. What? Don't let me pull right like that.
That's how it works. I touch blue, make it true.
Touch what? Touch blue, make it true?
No.
This is a strange American saying that I've never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
In Canada, we say touch puck, make it true.
Yeah, I bet.
touch Labatt's light, make it true. Okay. Mm-hmm. So then I've asked the kind listeners what they would like us to talk about, and someone said Q&A. Vikram said Q&A. He's the only one who really responded, except Chase said guitar time. Maybe that could be done at the end of the. He's just thinking about his coconut oil.
No, wait. I got it. Okay, so just to put a seal on this discussion, and I'm not talking about the ones that hang out at the beach. I got Josh on that one. So you say you spend $10,000 on Facebook ads and you make however much money. You make you double it. You get 20,000. You're still sitting there with maybe an email list and no website with no organic traffic, no real long-term strategy except for pouring more and more money into this Facebook thing, which is great. I mean, you're making money off of it, helps you fuel your other stuff. But ideally, you're going to want to eventually get into SEO because that's where you provide the best long-term value for your own business. So I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're doing search engine marketing or email list building or, off-page SEO. It doesn't really matter if you're not bringing in traffic to your website because, I mean, if you have a great brand, that's one thing. But in an ideal world, you want to build authority. And the best way to do that is to do SEO and then start doing content marketing around your niche.
Chase, let me ask you, if I were to put that $10,000 on a Facebook ad and driving, tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of clicks per month to it, would the SEO not gradually follow? Would Google not start ranking that on its own because of the low bounce rate, the conversions, all that stuff?
So say you had $10,000 to put in Facebook ads and you put none of that into content and no time into the content. You have 1 or 5 pages on your website with topical seeding around your main keywords. So you look at that and you go, okay, this is a website with probably a domain authority of 5, a page authority of maybe 7, because I don't do any SEO on it, no content, no authority building, no off page.
terrible quality.
No internal linking, no conversion rate optimization, no real branding in terms of like organic. So you look at that and you start building all this traffic through Facebook, and Google's like, oh, that's a good sign. You know, we have traffic coming in from other sources. I don't know. I mean, maybe they aren't actually able to identify that, but at least maybe people are coming over and searching your brand afterwards. Mm-hmm. So that's not really going to do much long term, because you're going to turn off those Facebook ads. You're still going to have a page authority of 3 or whatever it is, domain authority of 5, and you're not going to have any content that you're ranking for, because all of your stuff's going towards Facebook ads. So like in any scenario where you're paying for advertising, you're on their platform. You're not on your platform. So it is good if you want to build like an email list, and if you want to start getting people knowing and recognizing your brand, and you want to, you know, start pushing content out to these people once you start publishing it on your website. But in an ideal world, you know, you don't want to rely only on ads to fuel your business. You want to have some control over your own assets, because then people are going to naturally start finding you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. So it comes down to, of course, you got to do both, right? It's, if you just do the Facebook ads, the brand is not sustainable, and there's no SEO organic traffic, which eventually is free after you spend a lot of money on it. And if you do it the complete other way, you can, but then you're leaving out this huge chunk of traffic from Facebook, which can target a whole bunch of things, boost your SEO, correlates with higher SEO rankings, and is a whole other channel of people that might not even go on Google, or you get them at a different point in the sales funnel. So of course, as always, I break down the debate into black and white A and B, when it's not a black and white A and B. It's a smorgasbord. It's a collage, if you will, a potpourri of various tactics and strategies and strengths of things you want to do. Okay, so people let's move on to the next section. The next section is the lightning round, where we go through the comments and we point out things we want to point out and answer any questions that are there. Maybe make up some questions that we think are better, whatever. Avi Gutman says he just got married. Congratulations, Avi, for getting married. Woo!
Sound of happiness.
There you go. Yeah, did you say pound your happiness?
Sound.
Is that what you said?
Sound of happiness.
Oh, the sound of happiness.
Yeah. Okay. I heard a pound of happiness too.
Yeah, no. If my wife watches this, I said sound.
I thought, was that like a Shylock? Like, was that a Shakespeare reference? That it's pound of flesh, pound is happiness. I'm moving. Okay, never mind. I'm moving on. Okay, so is there SEO in Africa? I will be in Morocco in a few days, he asks. I think that was him being facetious. Yes, there's SEO in Africa. I actually have a lot of people from Africa who contact me. Let me see what else we have here. Steve said I was name dropping, and I said, you're damn right I'm name dropping. Not many other SEOs can admit that they get emails back from Google. There's like very small chunk that even know the emails to email Google, and even a smaller chunk that gets emails back from Google. So I worked hard. I kissed a lot of ass for that. I sucked a lot of proverbial John Mueller penis to be able to have the right to do that. And so you're damn fucking right. I'm going to brag about it. Sorry.
You know, that video clip's going to go around the internet now.
Yeah, and they're going to edit everything else other than that's what you do.
Okay, so 1, I have to see me with boobs with chest hair. That's the first thing I got to see. 2, I don't want to see the other one. Never mind. That actually that'd be too difficult. I'm not seeing any really good questions here, guys. Guys, it's not easy for me to pick out the questions. Okay, so George asks. George is a good guy. George is actually one of my apprentices, actually. George asks, when I submit an article to a site, that's a private blog network, right? Question mark. So public are good, private are bad, right? I don't know what the context of that conversation was, and maybe someone else who knows more about PBNs could jump in. But no, PBN stands for private blog network. It assumes it's sites that you control, as opposed to like WordPress.com or Web 2.0 sites, as they're called in the industry. Web 2.0 sites, as they're called, where it's a public site where you can log in and you can put an article on someone else's site. Whether you should be doing this for SEO or not is a hotly debated topic. I would say stay away from it. Yeah. What would you guys say?
It's all great until you get caught.
You need to be really careful with your links these days. Google's like really cracking down on them. And honestly, I recommend you actually go through your links maybe a month or every 2 months, especially if you have a big website, and try to look for the spammy links. And there's also tools like there's this tool called SEO Profiler that will automatically pick up like anything that has like a certain spam score, and it'll just create a disavow file for you, and you can just quickly go through them and then plug it into your disavow. because you really don't. I mean, it's so easy to get hit right now by using PBNs and whatever else. Because I mean, Google's been saying this for years: don't buy links, don't buy links. And people are like, no, let's buy links, let's buy links. And like, they're just getting gnarlier and gnarlier at figuring out how to pick this stuff up because nobody's listening to them. And so they're like, you know what? That's what we're going to spend all of our time on right now. So if you look at a lot of their announcements right now, it's mainly them either talking about little like A and B testing they're doing for like certain things in the search results. And then everything else is around like quality and links.
Okay, now, well, hold on though. So here's another debate we can have. So Chase, you think that using a disavow file is a good thing to do or a useful thing to do? Because I have a lot of experiments currently that show otherwise, unless some things have recently changed with Penguin 4, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, so I've been actually asking a lot of people this lately. I'm in a bunch of SEO groups, and all of the people who are really, really experienced, like for instance, Bill Slawski or Alan Blywis or any Doc Sheldon, I talk to these people like literally on Skype. I'll call them and be like, look, are you sure about this?
Now who's name dropping?
Well, I'm not doing it on purpose, but
well, yes, I asked you. Fine, go ahead.
Either way, all of these people are like, yeah, this is something that you should check out, because I think like going back to the point of negative SEO earlier, you can actually get hit with penalties because people are doing negative SEO. Okay, Josh is completely disregarding this, but that's fine.
Okay,
right?
So that's Chase's position. Here's
I think a lot of people don't realize that link building is a phase in SEO. It's not a permanent thing if your business is always growing. For example, I manage, probably about 25 different websites, and most of them have more than 15 million backlinks each. And so when you have a website and you're thinking about link building, you're usually saying, well, how can I grow my backlinks by 10%? I obviously can't do that anymore. You can't just add 1.5 million relevant looking backlinks. Eventually, the world has to take it over and do it for you. And the good thing about that is if you do grow your business and the world does your link building for you, you figure out those methods, then you don't have to spend so much time and effort in link building, and the threats of link spam go away. If somebody throws 50,000 backlinks at my site, it's nothing. I don't care. It doesn't do anything. So you want to keep the long-term vision in mind, and you want to get to the point where you get out of the phase of having to build your link and into the phase of figuring out how to grow your business.
Yeah. Those are all good points. I want to move on to this question I got here in the chat. I just want to, my answer to the disavow is no. That's my answer. I've tested like 60 sites now who've disavowed and claimed that it's gotten better. None of them can say a naked disavow did that. They all deleted links. They all lost links. And I have 8 that did it, that had no link deletion, and they all went down.
Watch the main reason for the site re-ranking on Google that you were talking about earlier from the disavow.
Yes. Well, that could have been a disavow. That's a good point. That's a good point. But no, I'm not sure. See, that's the problem, is that I'm trying to isolate. If it was the disavow, I will be the first guy to change my tune. I will change my tune like that. And I'll be like, okay, Penguin 4, they changed it. Because if putting that one domain in the disavow file made that change, that means that means that they're actually processing the disavow file, and the disavow file actually takes the links out of your link graph the way John Mueller has said it works for the last 2 or 3 years. And he's a pretty straight shooter. So on one hand, I have this kind of dilemma in my head. It's like, one, John normally doesn't lie. He's got a conscience. He's a pretty straight shooter. But at the same time, I do all these experiments, and I can't prove the disavow does anything. So I go with the experiments. But as soon as I have more experiments that does this one, I'm going to do that. So, but for now, I wouldn't do it. I would do it like 0.1% of the time. Don't answer your phone. Damn it. Okay.
No caller ID. This is somebody.
Mueller.
That's Google calling you. That's your Google master calling you, telling you it's good that you mentioned.
Hey, John Mueller. Yeah, I'm on with Josh. Hold on a second.
Oh, hey, how you doing? Hey, get off the phone. We're on a podcast. Okay. Charlie Harridge asks, hey, Josh, what are your thoughts on schema markup? How important is it? That's a great question, Charlie. That's a fantastic question. I think it's pretty important. Ted will talk about in a second how much he thinks it correlates with rankings. I guess it depends on what schema markup you're using. But I think it's a ranking factor, and I think it's very important, at the very least, to allow Google to better understand whether you're serving a product or a service, or what kind of product or service it is. The only thing I would watch out for is that I would not use personally, I would not use the H-entry blog RSS markup schema, because basically you're telling Google that you're syndicated content, and syndicated content typically is not quality content. But again, those are just my kind of old wives' tale kind of rules of thumb SEO that I use. Ted may have some data he might want to completely contradict me on this score. Please, Ted, go ahead.
Actually, I agree. In recent days, like I've seen a lot of inverse correlations on the syndicated content related tags. With schema markup, though, it's through the roof. It's absolutely beneficial. And some of it really impacts your click-through rate on page because it causes the visual call out in the SERPs. But there's a clear correlation of rankings and having authorship and all the various entity schema markup. And it doesn't matter if you're using schema.org or metadata, they both correlate the same every time they correlate. So absolutely do it if you can.
That's thank you very much. That's a very good point. Vikram mentioned something here, using lookalike audiences. And so, yeah, definitely on Facebook where you're doing retargeting, you definitely want to be able to put a pixel on a website to get the retargeting properly. I'll let Steve explain it actually, because this is his thing, not mine.
Yeah, you would, the lookalike audience is based off of, you can do it off a couple different things, but the one you mentioned was a pixel. So you would base it off of traffic that's been on your site, find similar people. That's a huge, powerful tool right now for
and those people will convert better because they're in the
based on, they're clones. It's like it's take Josh and his lavender oil, and then find somebody like Josh who likes lavender oil. I mean, not Chase. That's why Chase didn't look up.
That's another thing SEO can do.
Yeah.
That's another thing SEO can't do is grow the audience with similar users.
Yeah, Facebook can find the exact same people. So, I mean, I'm telling you, the e-commerce, those guys.
Yeah, who don't even know they want to look for it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that is hands down a great point. I mean, that's definitely something that Facebook can do. I mean, you can do that with Google AdWords too, but you're going to spend 10 to 100 times as much doing it on Google.
Pay through the nose. Google AdWords is going to be dead. I think it's dying. Just nobody told it yet.
Yeah, it's essentially is capitalism run amok. It's all the rich boys can play there.
Yeah, $44 a click for a lawyer or something like that. I mean, it's crazy.
Hey, the fastest way to part a lawyer from $300 is to do a Google search for DUI attorney Los Angeles and click the #1 link.
I love it. Oh, that's great. Okay. Someone whose name is, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. It looks French to me, perhaps, maybe French African, maybe. He asked if I'm Canadian. Yes, I'm Canadian. How can you tell? The chest hair didn't give it away. Yes, the being very polite, but then willing to swear and say aggressive things at a drop of a hat. That didn't give away the Canadianness of myself. Okay, Chase says he's got to go pretty soon. That's okay. We'll get the last questions. The last question here from George. Again, one of my great apprentices here. He asked, what is social bookmarking? Ooh, that's a really good question. What is social bookmarking? In the context of Black Hat SEO, social bookmarking is getting links, essentially, getting sites from other Web 2.0s that have like bookmarking sites, essentially are web directories, and you can get links from them. That's what I think it is. What do you guys think?
I typically know it as just the buttons, the social integrations to share and like and do all that stuff.
A better definition of it is like it's basically a waste of time.
Yes, well, it's a waste of time.
I agree.
Forget about it.
It's actually not true. Those social integrations correlate very strongly, and Google +1s in particular correlate a lot. And it seems like it's a desperation maneuver by Google to make it have relevance.
No, I think sharing's important. I just think like how people look at it when they go and they just try to build links with social websites by building out like 50 profiles is just such a waste.
That's not.
Yeah, we're talking two different things. So yeah, +1s definitely help. You definitely want likes on your Facebook profile, even though there's no correlation that those likes are going to help your website, or that your website has likes is going to help your ranking. But no, social bookmarking in terms of like backlinks, again, that's PBNs. That's the easy linking that Google is well aware of and has been for 10 years. Trevor asks, does it make sense to purchase the ads and then on Facebook and then use the data from the ads to put into your SEO strategy?
Hey, I'm gonna sign off, guys. I gotta go.
Not a problem. Thank you, Chase.
Hey, good to see you guys. Hey, everybody in the chat, don't forget to leave a like.
Oh, good. He's here, so he can bully you into liking. There we go. All right. Well, we're gonna be done right away anyway. Seeing that Chase is gone, I guess I have to answer it. But I would like your guys' input too. It does make sense to use. I mean, from the AdWords perspective, yes. So when you're buying AdWords, even though we just said it's super expensive, a couple things happen for your SEO. One, the personalization algorithm uses the AdWords click as well. So if they click on your AdWords, your organic listing for them is going to go up as well. One. Two, when they see your AdWords and they see your organic listing, they get name recognition and increases the click-through rate on your organic listing. I'm not really sure how you could use the information from Facebook ads to help your SEO, other than, I mean, you can use it to tailoring your content. You have a better idea of exactly what they're interested in, and so you can write content where you know they're interested in it, right?
Good question.
Yes. Okay. Silence in this case means yes. So fantastic. Let's see if I can get one last question here. People asking me stuff. I don't know what it is. People talking a lot. I don't see. Oh, and so Ben asks, Josh, we've been improving our SEO through regular in-depth blogs, answering potential clients' questions. If blogging is dead, what's the best way to spend our time on SEO? That's a great question, Ben.
Blogging's not dead.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing, is that I like to downplay blogging because I have no end of sites that come to me for an audit that have a terrible blog that nobody likes and nobody reads, and it's just SEO filler content. And I even have some blogs that come to and they're not ranking at all. So I say, get rid of it. It's not ranking. It's not helping you. I have another set of smaller set of clients that have a blog that is not SEO filler content. It's written and trying to be good, but there's so many blogs out there, and it's not good enough that, again, it's ranking and they're getting like 1,000 clicks a month, but these people are not converting at all, as far as we can tell. And so why are they educating the world for no return whatsoever?
Well, it depends how you use it. It's all about the quality of your marketing plan.
Yes.
And
yes.
I find that the synergy between a blog and SEO, and the synergy between a blog and Facebook advertising, sponsored stories, and things of that nature is just tremendously great. And the other thing I find is that you can't target certain search terms when you have an online store, for example. You have your category keywords, you have your brand keywords, you have your product keywords, but there's this whole world of editorial keywords and promotional keywords and related keywords that you can't put onto your store without it being weird. And it all gets solved by having a nice blog where you can put that editorial and promotional content. And then you can promote those stories, and the blog advertises into the store. If you know what you're doing, it's a tremendously powerful tool.
Definitely. The problem is that
I would just chime in with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
My 2 cents. I agree with everything you just said. I just think it's such a long way to go. You know what I mean? You can like the blog. I get it. And the SEO. Again, I'm not an SEO guy. I just want to get the conversion. So my 2 cents are just take the effort, and put it into an ad, go straight to the commercial and sell your product in terms of if you have an ad campaign going.
And I agree with that too. I like both approaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, my point is that, so the way to, in 2007, it was a great strategy. You could have a blog, it could be a piece of crap, and Google would rank you for the long tail keywords, and then would start ranking you more for the head terms, and you could turn a profit off of that. But it just is, they wrote the Panda algorithm specifically to target that tactic. So we have the Penguin and all the linking algorithms to target the linking people have been doing in such a robust state that, you know, virtually 98% of it is discounted. We have the Panda algorithm discounting all the low quality content and crap like that. And I have no end of sites, I literally like 5 a week who contact me who have a crappy blog that doesn't get them anywhere. And so yes, you can still run a blog, but it's got to be magazine level quality. It's got to terminate the search. And as Ted and Steve mentioned, it has to plug directly into your marketing strategy so that you know exactly what kind of user you're getting and you're converting them. Otherwise, you're educating the world for no reason with a boat anchor on your site, which Google is going to give you the panda cancer anytime that they want, that they decide that you're just not good enough. And you're competing with 10,000 other sites. Literally 10,000 other sites have already got this great idea and are trying to do this. And so there are better ways, in my opinion, to do it.
If you're tired of announcing today's sale discount in your Facebook page, then a blog is a great strategy, because then you can actually make something interesting and promote that in your Facebook page instead of, you know, buy my stuff.
Exactly. Half of that kind of filler blog content can go into Facebook, because Facebook is not going to penalize you in any way. Or Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but they want you to go on there and keep posting, even if it's just filler crap. You know,
even though nobody ever sees it.
Yeah, nobody ever sees it anyway. You might as well go to dev null and Linux and just put it all in the dev null.
But now it's in 2017. It's estimated to be less than 1% of your fans are going to get anything you post.
And that's true. That's totally true.
Definitely. So just stop doing it. Just stop doing the spammy kind of filler content. It doesn't help you anywhere in any way, shape, or form. You know, if you can be like, it's like yelling at the TV, which I might do maybe once or twice, especially when I'm watching the news and maybe, I don't know, Donald Trump is on the news for some reason. The rare times he's on the news these days, it's like yelling at the TV. It doesn't go anywhere. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to do anything. It might make your wife yell at you or think you're weird, but that's about all it's going to do.
The only time that a fan page post could be helpful is if you're trying to do some black hat stuff and you're trying to get around some blocked things. Then I've used it. I've used some strategies where I did some on-site on the fan page content to get some reach, things like that.
No comment.
No comment. So there you have it. My two blackish or hatterish or guests.
I put my super black hat on right there.
If you want more information, you're going to have to contact them. So that's it. That's the show for today, guys. Thank you very much for listening and watching. As Chase said, like it or he'll give you the big smackdown hand of doom, and he won't drink from his jug anymore. And we'll all be sad. Again, my name is Josh Bachynski. You can follow me at Twitter at Josh Bachynski. You can email me, joshbachynski@gmail.com, and you can watch more videos like this where we discuss secrets, tips, tricks, Google leaks. It's just myself sometimes ranting or sometimes with other ranters such as these fine folks here. You guys, why don't you leave your contact information in case anyone wants to contact you about your stuff?
Okay. My name Steve at brightsourcemedia.com. You can email me, especially if you have some black hat things you want to try or some ads that got denied.
There was a couple
doing that kind of stuff. I'm doing that a lot.
So you folks email Steve and Ted. Do you want people to contact you or just leave them alone?
If you want to see what I'm up to, just go to SEOtoollab.com. There's videos showing what the stuff does.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks very much, guys. And with that, we're going to sign off. As always, thank you for watching White Hat versus Black Hat SEO podcast. Tune in next week where Chase will have even a bigger jug. He'll show us some of his coconut oil.
I got my jug, my Chase jug.
And I will rant even more. Thanks very much, guys, for watching. And as I always say, good luck in the SERPs.
Thanks.